Being a baby mama is ghetto as hell. It is.
Ooh, Tiffany.
The ghettoest thing I have ever done in all of my years.
Damn.
Period.
Period.
Okay? I don't care how nobody feels about nothing and anything.
Okay.
But for me and my lifestyle, being a baby mama is truly the ghettoest thing
that I've
ever done. And my situation is solid.
My sis just came over here with the real deal transparency type. And she ain't even talking about baby mama. She's talking about herself as a baby mama. And then she's talking about y'all too.
Yeah, I'm definitely talking about y'all. But I'm just saying,
is a baby mama.
I am.
She can talk her ish on that.
And I probably have one of the rarest types of situations.
Man, Tiffany,
it's tight. I think it's ghetto. So I can only imagine.
You hear me?
With the how it normally is out here in the street. I can't imagine what y'all be going through.
This is the Becoming of Her podcast. Hi, welcome back. This is Brittany with the Becoming of Her podcast.
And this is Tiffany.
And first of all, let me tell y'all something before we even get into it. Before I even say what episode it is, this is going to be an episode of very unpopular opinions.
Y'all might want to tussle a little bit.
Y'all gonna want to tussle, but we said what we said, and we ain't even said it yet. But it has to be said. But this is episode 11. Welcome.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah, we always give props to ourselves for doing what we need to do. So welcome back, checking back in with us. Glad to have you here.
Yes, and tell a friend. I don't think we ever really said this, but
you know what? Y'all better be telling somebody because we are trying to grow this channel. And we do believe in what we're doing. We feel like we're doing something different here.
We are doing some of the Lord's work.
Doing some of the Lord's work for us girls. So tell a friend.
Yes, come get this game and grow together.
And let's grow together.
Yes, let's do it. Okay, so let's get into this because I'm ready to talk about this, and I have to say this.
Are you gonna at least tell her what it's gonna be about?
I'm not to say what I'm gonna say. We're gonna get into it. Okay. They gonna know what I'm talking about. Let me say this. Being a baby mama is ghetto as hell. It is.
Ooh, Tiffany.
The ghettoest thing I have ever done in all of my years.
Damn.
Period.
Okay?
I don't care how nobody feels about nothing and anything.
Okay.
But for me and my lifestyle, being a baby mama is truly the ghettoest thing
that I've
ever done. And my situation is solid.
My sis just came over here with the real deal transparency type. And she ain't even talking about baby mama. She's talking about herself as a baby mama. And then she's talking about y'all too.
Yeah, I'm definitely talking about y'all. But I'm just saying,
is a baby mama.
I am.
She can talk her ish on that.
And I probably have one of the rarest types of situations.
Man, Tiffany,
it's tight. I think it's ghetto. So I can only imagine.
You hear me?
With the how it normally is out here in the street. I can't imagine what y'all be going through. I can't wrap my brain around it. So let's get into this. What sparked this conversation?
Okay, so clearly last year we closed out the year with a lot of foolishness going on. Okay, not our good sis, not city girl. Okay, being called to the streets to defend her name because her man has had
something like a man,
somewhat. Not her situation. Right, has had another baby. And so that kind of sparked the idea of us just talking about broken homes.
Nick Cannon.
Oh,
we spent a lot of 2022 and 2021 just congratulating him on all of the tribe that he's built.
He is building a whole tribe. Nick, are you running a country low key? Are you over there like? Is it like what are you doing?
It's something, and I really feel like we are just in a cycle of more time than not. I feel like 80% of the time when we hear announcements about celebrities and well-known figures having children, it's children out of wedlock, which at the end of the day, to each his own. But I feel like, and part of this is by design, that the breakdown of actual families and having legitimized formal structures in place and creating families built in with structures and things and measures in place, it's a loss.
It's a loss. It's definitely is absent just in our community for sure. But how did we get here? And if you watched the last episode, one thing I talked about was that this year I am going to just be doing a little more research and a little more, but just studying just to give you guys just some real deal facts about certain things. Like, let's just really get up into it. So, as a whole, as a Black community, we have a lot of different variables working against us.
Yes.
Okay.
Very much so.
Okay. We can pinpoint in like the 80s with the whole drug war. You know, that really dismantled a lot of families there. We had a lot of Black men going to prison. Also, we had the feminist movement, which really worked against us. I don't care what anyone says. That was not for a Black woman.
It was not.
That wasn't for us. Sorry. Shoot me. That was not for Black women, but we hopped our ass on there. Like we always do on things that have nothing to do with us.
Preach.
We got on it. And also just the government structure of government aid. Okay, Section 8 housing, there are rules and stipulations that says certain people
cannot be present,
read between the lines, for you to receive certain type of assistance. Okay, and then this whole movement of being independent came in. Now that struck us. Miss Independent, she got a...
And even before then,
I
think about, and this is something I did a video on this one day, I never released, but I think about when I was growing up and being a little girl in the 90s, and how that's when they really started doing the independent programming, where you saw all these, like the rise of the women in corporate America, and the songs that were coming out at the time, and all this girl empowerment and girl group and girl this and women, and I can do what a man does, and if he can do it, I can do it too. That whole thing, go get your money up, get your career, and do, you know. So I was one of those little girls, like, I can't wait to go get a job, and I'm gonna wear my suits, and I'm gonna have this money, and I'm gonna get this bag, and I don't need no man.
That was like the Black woman stamp saying, I don't need no man. And boy, has it had an impact on us. And all women has been impacted by us. And I feel like it's just really is showing up a whole lot more during our times. Especially in the modern world now of like dating. And you want to still have traditional views. But even from that standpoint, let's just talk about who taught us really about relationships.
So in my experience, and I have a different experience than the norm. I mean, typically you learn about your relationship experience from your parents. In my particular situation, I was primarily raised by my aunt and uncle, and also a grandparent. So I really learned a lot of my relationship information from them, somewhat from my mom as well, but primarily from the experience that I saw with them.
Maybe trial and error. Let me tell you something. With me, it has been a lot of trial and error. I did have a married couple in my life. My aunt and my uncle, they were married, but my mom is now married. But growing up, for me, there was a lack of healthy relationships that I saw just around, you know, just around me. And I feel like as women, we need a lot of things shown to us. We need a lot of demonstration.
Yes.
We need those imprints on us. And because what's so funny is that as little girls, we are giving things to help us be nurturers.
Mm-hmm.
From the toys that we play with. I know everybody had a little easy bake. I know. Listen, to cook.
I thought I was Master Chef on the easy bake.
To cook doll houses, Barbie, Ken, Plan House. I mean, from the little bit girls, we're taught to nurture.
Mm-hmm.
But I know we're not the only Black women who are saying like, hey, there was a lack of just knowledge into relationships and how this thing is supposed to, male perspective.
I think we were taught how to take care of a home and a family, but not a man.
Yeah, not a man. And then just the relationship building and to actually be able to choose and have certain aspects and virtues as a woman, that has just been lost.
Mm-hmm.
That being a virtuous woman, I don't hear any of that going on. So we have our city girl, we have our hot girl, we have our bad bitch, but what about being a virtuous woman? What about having certain standards so high, right? Where you now require it's an absolute must that God is being used in you and within you to help you choose. Like when it just comes to men, being a woman of virtue, that's something that I want to be more on. I want to increase my wifey vibes.
Yes,
like it starts in so many different places, but I feel like a lot of women. Man, it hurt. A lot of women hurt, and a lot of women just don't know.
And you can see it. And I think because it's always so much of I'm unbothered. Ain't nobody gonna get at me. Like, it's because everyone shares the same language. We think it's normal to operate in that space. And then when you actually start getting to another side, like where you're unlearning bad behaviors, and you're really starting to operate at a higher level, you really see how broken and bitter and just sad that people are when it comes to dealing with the opposite sex. And I'm on social media sometimes, and I just look at the way people speak, and it's like, it's really sickening. Like, I never forget, and I screenshotted it because I meant to post it one day, where I was logging into YouTube, and one of the first videos that I see is like a picture of these women, and they're on a panel. It's like, why I hate Black men. Huh?
How can you hate something that is the complete reflection opposite of us? Men are our first self of defense. Okay, and men, for me, a part of honoring myself and my authentic feelings and who I am as a woman, my feminine energy, I want a man that is my provider and my protector. You're my first defense. If I have a man, if somebody coming up in our house, who about to defend me? And I just think we have got to a point where women are no longer assessing men on that type of scale on who they should give a child to. I feel like the value of having kids, and because to me that's the highest honor you can give a man is having their baby.
It is.
Because we can fucking die. You can die having a child. Okay? So if that's the highest thing that you could give someone, and you're giving these things, and your standards and what is being reciprocated back to you are not low, it takes away that value of just family. What you think?
Definitely. And I didn't really fully understand it. And I've had a lot of dialogue about it in this current dating that I'm doing. And it really enlightened me about understanding more the value of your womb. And if I could go back, I would do things differently, because you don't really think about that. And the understanding of who we allow access to our body, and then also who we allow access to our womb. Because then you feel like you've made these mistakes, and then when you actually meet an ideal man who you would be honored to allow access to your womb and to create a legacy with. It's like almost like your womb has been tainted.
Yeah, and you have to really have those conversations. And the thing is that it sucks to have that conversation with somebody when you haven't really had it with yourself. Those are the type of conversations, like I'm gonna be saying this all year, is that heightened self-awareness that I was talking about, like that I want for us this year. Why are we choosing, right, to accept just a piece of a man? When a man is giving you a child and you all are producing a child together, at minimum, he can at least say that he will protect and provide for you for the rest of your life. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what no one says. That should be a minimum. Very and when I say provide for, okay, everybody know money comes and goes. Money comes and goes, but will this man honor you? Or will he have you out here looking crazy? Like Diddy? Will he speak up for you in times where you cannot find the words? When things are not being handled in a fashion, is he able to come in and get certain things done for you? At minimum. But we are out here taking Christmas photos alone with all your 3-4 kids by different baby daddies. Make it make sense.
Or taking rotational Christmas picture with the community baby daddy.
With the community baby daddy. The man, he got different families with different women. And it's just like, as a culture, we have just, what's the word I'm looking for? We have desensitized ourselves enough to feel like that's the norm.
It is. It very, very much so. And I think that we are really discounting the role that this is going to play on our children. Because children pick up on certain things. And all they know is, why isn't daddy here? So kids, and my kids are really vocal.
Especially your little baby.
oh my God. He is like, he's going to say, he's funny. He says what I'm thinking. Like he does. He's that
he's
vocal.
Like her outward. I don't know, mind.
Yeah, he really is, and it creeps me out sometimes. He says stuff behind me like, damn, I was just thinking that. He's right. Like, he done been here before forever.
No, he has.
But it's just like, kids are really in tune. And a lot of times we're very selfish with how we create our children and the lifestyle, because we just think, well, it's cool. I don't need this man around to take care of my baby. And da, 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 da. But children need feminine and masculine energy for a reason. I don't care if it's a female child or a male child. There are certain things that children need. There's certain perspectives that children need. There's certain energy that children need that you cannot get from one parent alone. I don't care what kind of supercalifragilisticexpialidocious parent you think that you are. There is nothing that can replace a mother. There is nothing that can replace a father. And the aspects of a person and the energy that they need to grow up and to be a responsible, intelligent, emotionally intelligent person.
Because I'll tell you this. My friend who is married, I'll kid you not. So for the past couple of years, she's been in school. Her father works, most of the time. I kid you not, in her little mind, in her little brain, I remember one time she said that, the mommies are supposed to stay at home and go to school while the men are supposed to go to work. That is a clear, just representation of what she sees in her day to day. And it gives me even further back to think when we were talking about earlier, where are we learning these relationships patterns from, right? And like I said, I grew up with a lack of representation in the relationships. And you also have to think about the women that was around us, our influences as kids. Some of y'all mamas and aunties, big sister thems or whatever, like some of them were side bitch chicks. I'm gonna say it with the B word. But some of them were side chicks, and some of them were gold diggers. Some of them were not they were not virtuous women. We have to think. You have to really think deep. Like I said, I'm gonna keep telling you guys this heightened self-awareness about the decisions that you are making in your life. And just definitely when creating kids, it's serious. I'm 30 with no kids. It's very intentional. Because I do require before that. And, some people may look at me crazy like, oh, well, I didn't want a marriage. And, I just hate when we are not real with ourselves.
Oh, listen, talk about it. Talk about it.
Because the thing is, if your dream man, if you was in a relationship with your ideal man, it is no way, sis, that you turning down a proposal. So we have to be honest about that thing now.
Because people love to use as an excuse. But everybody doesn't want to be married.
Sure.
I don't want that kind of relationship.
But you want to raise a kid.
I just want to be, I want my baby and...
Really? You want to raise your kid co-parenting? You don't want to rest in bed maybe one day out of the week, 2 days of the week while he take their ass to the bus stop or to school. You don't want to have the leisure to sometimes have your mornings while he take care of them or stay out. Hey, today hey, babe, Mom, I'm about to go have a couple of drinks. Don't got to worry about, let me go drop the kids out. Let me go do this. It's a little more cohesive. You have a team.
But see, when you've never experienced that, when you've been raised by a single mother, and then your single mother was raised by a single mother, that's all go. You got to do it all. You don't even know what that feels like. And I think I was telling this to a former friend of mine, and I didn't really fully experience it until I was with my ex and we had our son, and I had the experience to be a stay-at-home mom and have a partner and really just rest and know that someone else got it. I said, girl, until you have that experience of having a child with a man who really loves you and who really allows you to rest, it's going to change your whole perspective on raising a kid. Is you're going to move in a totally different energy where you're not going to want anything less than that, because that is how you want to feel. You want to feel that you have your moments I can enjoy my children, but I can also enjoy myself, and I can also enjoy my partner, because my partner is providing opportunities for me to be able to be.
Support. Because as I mentioned in the New Year readiness, is that this year I plan on getting in certain communities. Really, I'm doing that for different type of support efforts. So when you feel so, it's just like you feel secured. Women, we love feeling secure.
Yes, we crave that.
We crave that. Just for our minds to be at ease. Like, he got it. And I know I'm not a mom, but my friends who are mothers, like, even when you have a spouse or have support, you still can somehow still feel like you're losing yourself still. But if you still at least have the capacity where somebody would give you a break from your life to be like, do you need a weekend vacation? Do you need to just out of love, going through those different seasons with you? And it's just like, we need, as women, you have to decide when it's time to grow up and how to start operating as a wiser woman. Okay? And I know a lot of times we do certain things when we are lacking the information and the knowledge and the confidence, especially when it comes to our money. And we'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead and get pregnant with this nigga, like, at minimum, he gonna pay the child support, he gonna be like, let's just be real. We do that as a clutch. Then we got some of y'all raggedy ones out here who have men that want to be present, but you're so bitter because he didn't want to be with you. Maybe you had some traumas that you didn't get rid of. He really didn't like your ass, but you still wanted to have a baby about him, but that's your fault. And now you bitter. You're not letting a man be present.
Exactly.
Y'all raggedy.
Exactly. Or you decide to have another baby with him just so that you can have, I want to have my kids by the same person, knowing good and goddamn well I don't want to deal with this person, but you bring more life into the world with them just so the kids can have the same father.
Not operating at your highest self. On this realm, on this earth, we are meant to transcend as spiritual beings. How can you do that when you are out here not having any intention on a life that you are creating? How can you do that? And a lot of times we get so caught on the worldly things of wanting things to look a certain kind of way, or wanting to have a feeling like we have this fake security with the money, with the men and stuff that we choose, where you abandon just a whole part where you can go through a transformation being committed to your purpose or something higher. And you completely abandon that process and stay where you are, choosing not to grow, choosing not to be a wiser woman when it comes to when you trying to make babies, having access to your womb. Or just men who have certain type of conversation with you. Diddy, you not checking for me, but Diddy could come. I don't want no man like Diddy. He ain't checking for me, but I wouldn't even want a man like that. It's just like at minimum
for me in that realm, and a lot of people were like, "Oh well, I think she said something like he wouldn't look your way or anything."
Oh yeah, like she did say that.
But I think to your point, and I wouldn't want a man like that either, because I think about the dick discipline, and a lot of times these men don't have that. And when I see a man move like that, it tells me a lot about who you are as a man.
Where you
at the end of the day, the money, baby, it's great. But that don't move me in this phase of my life, and the understanding and a lot of the spirituality that plays into these situations. Like, baby, we can get a bag. You know what I'm saying? It may not be that kind of bag, but it's a bag to where I feel like I can still live a good life, but also be able to maintain the spiritual principles that I follow, the morals and the values that I follow, and that I'm not just in some shit just because a nigga's gonna trick off on me.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's just like, for me, a wise woman knows that we're not moved by sexual advances. Okay, we know that a high value man is not only the money that he's providing to you. Where is this man in his journey, his spirituality? What is he convicted to? Okay, who do he answer to? Is God a dominant force over his life, where he feels as if he has to move a certain way just because he want to reap the benefits of God and being a certain kind of man? Okay, so don't want to get super spiritual with you guys, but I believe it's Psalms 31. They talk about a virtuous woman, and her value is greater than rubies. It talks about also how
you better preach today, girl.
Okay, and it also talks about just that her husband pretty much just being with her, that he don't want to, that he have a less risk of losses, right? Just with being with this virtuous woman. So I just feel like overall we be so here with thinking and operating, where it's just like, it's so many different aspects and parts of being relationships and creating life with each other. And I feel like that be the part that's missing.
Exactly, because I think about like a man who is really about his principles and his values is not out here creating 6, 7, 8 broken homes. And I don't care, there ain't that much money in the world that will make me believe that it is okay to have all these different households of children. Because at the end of the day, we're going to fast forward 20 years, and these children are going to have so much shit to say about this man who is not present. Because at the end of the day, kids want time and attention.
This is coming from a mother.
They want time and attention. My son's dad and I was talking about that today, because we have been running into that issue with our son. His dad is super busy. I am busy too. And so a lot of times he's not getting the attention that he desires. And so what has he done? Acting out. Kids don't care about money and things to the extent that you think that they do. They do because they've been conditioned to believe that, like, this is where the thing is. But at the end of the day, if you really break it down, and for them, especially for them to understand, instead of that PlayStation 5 and the new sneakers and then this and that, they'd rather you be sitting at home playing a board game with them. Yeah, trust and believe.
Some of the most intimate moments I could think of with my mom, we weren't doing anything elaborate. We were just spending time together, right? And another thing that you were saying, it's just like, why would a man tell you, and I hate when men say this, I've had men say this to me real hard, the men, is that I could be with how many women that I can afford. So I want to be the one to tell you women right now, don't be finessed and fooled into thinking that money part is the only thing that you need in order to have happiness in a successful relationship. You know, especially when we're talking about kids making, you know, having children and everything. It's like, yeah, you have the money, but did he also tell you that he can't afford you energetically though? He can afford you with his money, because he could pay a little something on the rent. You know what I'm saying? He could pay a little money on the rent. But he can't afford you energetically, and he cannot afford you spiritually. He letting you already know. Why would you want to have multiple women when, and I did some research, another thing we said we're doing some research, I was looking at some scriptures in the Quran, and also, of course, like in the Bible, but it was just talking about just the benefits of just being with one woman. The abundance of just being of one.
That makes me think about, I was listening to a video of 19 Keys that he did, and he was talking about how men want to have multiple women, but they haven't even mastered a successful relationship with one woman.
Exactly.
It's like, how about you do this first before you talk about go out there and getting another woman? Like, how can you even have a thought to think about entertaining another woman when you have not created an A1 solid relationship and what you have here?
And then and then just to add on to that, not only are you guys lacking in creating just one solid relationship, but just leaving your imprint on a woman. Have you mastered being able to help evolve a woman?
That part.
Okay. Have you successfully unwrapped a woman? Have you conquered really a woman mind where now she is really a whole better person just because of you?
Or you just left with a baby.
Or you just left her with a baby. Okay. With a coochie wet and a little money maybe be on a dresser, whatever. But is she a better woman? Or she still doing so? Because some of y'all favorites, quote unquote, baddies, they are still doing the same thing that they've been doing for the past 10 years to make money. Still have naked on the internet. Still hosting club and parties. But y'all having multiple baby daddies, or meeting these men having daddies, but you still like operating the same. Can we get into that?
That's crazy. It really is. Because it's just like, at some point, when do you learn the lesson? Like, when do you learn that maybe I need to stop moving how I used to move to get different results? Because all this is going to do, you're going to fast forward 5-10 years down the road. You're going to look at your life, realize that, okay, now I'm baby number 3 with baby daddy number 3, and now I want to be a wife, I want to have the family, but now I am 15 years older, my body doesn't look the same, I'm still not emotionally mature, and so now you're in this bitter place where you're thinking like, dang, I did all these things.
And that's how we lead up there. And then guess what you gonna do? Now that energy about to rub off on your daughter. And the cycle continues to repeat and repeat and repeat. We have to know how to nurture our souls. Learn when your spirit is telling you that it is time for growth spiritually. Sometimes we just think it's the money. No, you may need to dissociate yourself with everything that you thought was and how you are. Because I'm here to tell you, sis, like, you are deserving to have a man that will love you and be able to provide and tell you that I am committed to giving you covering, giving you unmatched covering.